Nerds. Nerdettes. Oh, we're doing this today. Oh, awesome. Let me plug this in. Hang on 1 second. I know it's the funeral, but I need to plug that in to be sure. Okay. Nerds. Nerdettes. We're gathered here to commemorate the life of Tom Holland, Peter Parker. He had a good run. Very funny dude. Did a lot. We're not sure exactly what happened. Some people think it's because he was doing all those spoilers, slipping up all the time. Some people think Sony was going to take him back, and Kevin Feige said, hell no, fam, let me show you how we do this around here. Some people think he caught a sandwich to the face in a meeting between Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige. Regardless, I, for one, am going to miss him. But I look forward to Spider-Man continuing with the next Spider-Man, or maybe the last Spider-Man, or maybe the Spider-Man before that. Who the fuck knows what Sony's doing, you know what I mean? Seriously, it's super confusing. But we should pay our respects. I'll see you guys in the tower. All right, enough of all that. Let's get it going. It's Friday, motherfuckers. It's time to get hyped up. It's time to get excited. You made it through another work week, NERDVENGERS. You did a bunch of bullcrap you probably didn't want to do. And now you've got a couple of days to chill out before you gotta go do that bullcrap again. Sorry. It's kind of weird how life works like that. We made it together. And it's going to be a good Friday show. We always have a good time here on Fridays at NERDVENGERS Tower. We're going to be enabling gambling soon. I haven't enabled it yet. Don't try. We're going to be enabling gambling. We're going to be talking about juicy stories about how Tom Holland Spider-Man is dead. R.I.P. R.I.P. Tom. You had a good run. What are we talking about? Other crazy news out there. Russo brothers making comments about the current situation with Hollywood. The idea that there might be a 90-day long strike. 90-day long. Holy loving mother, loving mother's mother loving, flipping my flapjacks. That shit's crazy. So we're going to get into that and more. Should be a good time. And at the end of the show, we're going to do call-ins via the Discord. If you are a NERDVENGER member, go make sure you're a part of that section of the Discord. Later in the show, we're going to be breaking it all down. Talking about what's going on in the world. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys had a good week. A couple of things going on. Later today, I will be on Star Wars Theories channel, and we're going to be doing a big old stream that's a fundraiser to raise money for St. Jude's. Okay? Super big deal. If you can, try to make it over there. Throw a couple of bucks towards a good cause. If you can, that would be absolutely amazing. I think I'm going to be hanging out for a couple hours with Theory later. And we're going to actually probably game together. We might actually play some games together. That's wild. It's going to be wild. Also, tomorrow night, I wanted to clarify something. I know a lot of people are confused. What are we doing for DC fandom? Are we going to be covering DC fandom? Absolutely. But the way I want to do this year is I'm going to be hanging out in our Discord, maybe on the BBS website a little bit, while DC fandom is going down. I am not going to be streaming during DC fandom. Not going to do it. Too many copyright issues, too much blah, blah, blah. And honestly, you guys don't want to watch me for 5 hours go like this. Be better if it was Zack Snyder. It'd be better if it was Batfleck. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that for 5 hours straight. So instead, we will be organizing on the Discord. I'd love it if NERDVENGERS showed up on the DC Fandom stream together and hung out, and we're literally like, yo, NERDVENGERS are here. What's up, DC fans? You know, that kind of stuff like we did with Danny Geekdom 101 stream a couple of weeks back, or maybe it was last week, whatever. Super fun stuff. So we'll be convening in the Discord. We'll be watching that stream together. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys, and then we'll do a recap stream after it's all said and done live for everybody. So you'll see that. That'll be fun. That'll be super exciting. Now, let me ask you in the chat as we get into some of this news here. Did you guys see the comments made by Tom Holland Spider-Man yesterday? Did you see what this man had to say? Did you? Did you? Let me know. It's pretty wild, man. A lot of people were freaking out about this. Freaking out about this whole thing, man. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. We're going to break it down. We're going to try to get to the bottom of this. We're going to try to make you guys feel a little bit better about it. You know, like I said, Tom had a good run. Tom had a good run. But before we get into this article, actually, let me make sure I have gambling on for you guys, because I know all the fiends love to do their gambling on Fridays. So let me get that put on for you guys. I'd also love to do another drawing for an NFT today. We have a couple of cool NFTs in the vault. And there are a lot of people that have been reaching out trying to donate stuff to the NERDVENGERS vault, and that's awesome, man. I'm hoping to be able to get back to everybody. Been a busy week, been a lot going on inside and outside the tower. So, oh, you know what? We don't even have anything pulled up on the research board. What the mother-loving love of mothers? Let me pull this up for y'all so we can get to the bottom of this. We have a poll going on in the chat currently about if people believe, oh shit, there it is. If people believe that he's actually going to die. And a lot of you are like, nah, fam, he's not doing it. I wouldn't be so sure. And we're going to talk about it. Okay, guys, gambling should be enabled. Somebody check it out. Let me know. Make sure we're good here. Looks like it's on. Right on. Rock and roll, mother lovers. You know what we'll do? If we don't give away an NFT today, we'll do a bunch of giveaways next week, for sure. For sure. R.I.P. the chat. Here comes the gambling. R.I.P. the chat. Holy mother-loving love of mothers. A lot of juicy super chats today. I appreciate you all, and I definitely will be going over all of those super chats towards the end of the video. Dang, man, a lot of juicy stuff coming in. Thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you for the support. Okay, let's get into this. Let's see what this is about. Tom Holland says Spider-Man No Way Home cast treated the film as end of franchise. What? Yeah, you don't say it. You don't say it, Tom. I mean, are you reading this, guys? Are you reading this? I mean, look, leave it to the den of chills, the den of clickbait over here to make a weird clickbaity title. But this is literally the first line. Oh, shit. This is literally the first line of this article, man. Could this next Spider-Man film be Tom Holland's last? Dun, dun, dun. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the Spider-Man No Way Home star shared about how filming one scene in the movie made him feel like the series might be over. What? Sorry. We've been making these films for 5 years now. We've had such an amazing relationship, the three of us. We've been with each other every step of the way, Holland said. We've done every single film, every single press tour, so this one scene, we didn't know if this would be the last time we were all working together. It was heartbreaking, but also really exciting because we're all moving into the next chapter of our careers. He continued. So sharing that moment with them was maybe the best day I've ever had on set. I don't think I've cried like that ever. Does it seem far-fetched now? Does it seem clickbaity now? Only answer that if you're going to say no. Okay, let's keep going here. Just because the film feels like an ending doesn't mean there won't be more to come. I think if we're lucky enough to dive into these characters again, you'd be seeing a very different version. It would no longer be the Homecoming trilogy, Holland explained. We would give it some time and try to build something different and tonally change the films. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But we were definitely treating No Way Home like it was the end, and it felt like it. Spider-Man No Way Home hits theaters in December 17th. Okay, I think here's another one. Oh, that's the Entertainment Weekly article. Okay, so here's some stuff in here. Let's see if there's anything new in this one. He's talking about Molina, one of the favorite people I've ever worked with. It was really fun to watch him see how technology has advanced. When he was making these films, the arms were puppets, and when we did it, they're all imaginary and CG. It was quite cool seeing him relive it, but also relearn it. Let's see here. He's talking about... I don't know if we're going to be... This is probably sprawling, huh? Maybe not. Let's see here. We've been making these films for 5 years. That's the quote there. Treating it like it's the end. Yeah. Okay, let's just read this. The first film, John Watts and I were sort of flying by the seat of our pants. This one, I think we both felt really confident, so we were able to relax. We actually had so much more fun on this one than we did on the previous two. I can't imagine why. So... yeah, talking about the fighting, talking about how it's much more visceral. These are new images, by the way. You know? Like I saw people talking about this. These are new images. We've never seen these before in any of the trailers or the marketing. Many people believe this will be stuff that is in trailer number 2. Doc Strange. Just being mad. Kind of fun. Okay, so what does it mean? Bruh, I'm going to tell you all right now. Don't put it past Feige to kill off Tom Holland Spider-Man. I mean, technically, he already killed him off once. The end of Infinity War. And brought him back. Yep. I think a lot about what the plans must be for Sony and for Marvel. I think a lot about how this is all going to play out in the future. There's a lot to indicate that instead of it being maybe an end for the character, it may well be an end for the character in the MCU. Okay? Now, a couple of you yesterday, when we were doing the NERDVENGERS only stream, which was dope, and we read King in Black. Oh, man, it was so cool. Had a good time on that stream. But a lot of people were saying, you know, Daniel Richtman, Daniel, RPK, that he had shared something that did make it seem like he was leaving the MCU after that. Okay? So I'll see if I can actually find and pull up what he said. That would be dope there. Talking about him continuing in the MCU. I don't know if I can find it really quickly offhand here. But regardless, there's some evidence, man. Some evidence to suggest that he'll be gone from the MCU. Technically speaking, I believe he has one more film on his contract for Marvel Studios after this. Okay? Let's see here. It's heartbreaking to really exist in movies and chapters of our career. Cried a lot. So, yeah, Daniel's sharing a lot of weird stuff about it. And there was sort of a vibe yesterday between the insiders and people, like, kind of chatting about this sort of stuff, where it was kind of like, hey, man, is it possible? Is it actually possible? Now, in all seriousness, the likelihood of them actually killing him off, pretty low, right? Like, the likelihood of that actually happening, pretty low. In fact, but here's what I'm confused about. Like, if I could just pontificate on this point for a second. This is what I'm confused about. Are we not doing a lot to bring the other Spider-Man and to bring Venom into the MCU? Would it not make sense that they would hang around for a little bit? Like, doesn't it seem weird? Like, if Sony... This is what I can't figure out. If Sony's going to go put together their own thing, do their own Spider-Verse thing, which does seem like there's evidence of, you know, with the Madam Web stuff, a lot of other insiders have sort of hinted at this. They're going to do some Spider-Verse stuff. Maybe what he is saying here in these comments is that he's going to end this franchise and end up hanging out with other Spider-Man and hanging out with Sony characters or doing some really wild stuff over with Sony. And then maybe eventually down the line coming back, re-exploring the character and doing that. What that might mean is no more MJ, no more Ned, no more Doctor Strange, no more of that. That he's going to literally leave and go work exclusively in Sony stuff, okay? That could be the case. In fact, I think Nick Santos from the Hashtag Show was indicating that there is some plan to do the college trilogy. This was always sort of a thing. This idea of Peter Parker doing a trilogy of movies where he is in college, way older than he is currently. But I can't help but just think about the possibility. We're hearing that there were multiple endings shot for No Way Home. Somebody big's going to die. We don't know who it is. And they shot multiple versions of it. One of the versions they shot could well be Tom Holland dying. Like, it's technically not outside of the realm of possibilities. And if Feige was really being salty, if Feige was really playing some white shug, doing some white shug stuff, could he not kill off Tom Holland, or perhaps send Tom Holland out into the multiverse, have him go through a portal, do something crazy, and then he's gone? And then you could have Sony people hanging out in the MCU for a little bit, probably through Multiverse of Madness, and then perhaps go do their own thing with Madam Web and the Spider-Verse. You could definitely see something like that happening. It would be wild. So I don't know, man. I think in some ways, Tom's just trolling a little bit, you know, trying to get the people excited, trying to get the people hyped up. And I think one of the most fun parts about this movie is that despite a lot of the leaks, which, by the way, I'm doing another video on Spider-Man leaks later today. Dude, it's crazy. Skittles leaks, Lexus commercial leaks. Bruh, this is reminding me of the Rise of Skywalker. In fact, let me know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember when there was the Burger King leaks for the Rise of Skywalker? We ascended into we already went into the multiverse, bruh. We already went into the multiverse when we saw Burger King talking about the actual leaks for the Rise of Skywalker. That shit was ridiculous, dude. Oh, man, was that funny. We're starting to get to that point with this film, I tell you what. So we're not going to talk full leaks here. You know, we try to keep it as non-spoilery as we can in these streams, unless I specifically say I'm talking about spoilers. But, man, y'all got to check out the leaked video later. If you're into the leaks, man, go check it out, man. It's fun. It's going to be a fun video. I'm excited to do it, actually. I'm going to be laughing a lot during that video. Yeah. So, that's sort of the main thing, and I'm sure maybe we'll get into some of this in Q&A. I'm sure a lot of you guys have different questions or thoughts on this process. I think the vast majority of you, like 70% of you guys say, yeah, the BK leaks is OG Den of Nerds. It really was. I got lucky to not get caught up in a lot of that mess, too. Anyway, so That's sort of the baseline. 70% of you guys are like, nah, they're not going to kill him off. I don't expect them to kill him off either. But I think one of the fun things is, despite all of the leaks, we're going to go into this movie, and there'll be a lot of questions we have, even if you've looked at the leaks. There'll be a lot of surprises, even if you've looked at the leaks. And where it goes from here is still interesting and unknown. You know what I mean? So we're shaping up, man. It's going to be wild. Spider-Man's about to take over the planet. It's really, really exciting stuff. In fact, let me see if I can pull this up. Let's check this out. Let's go check this out. Big day for news yesterday, too. We reacted to the Hawkeye trailer. Thought that was really fun. I thought it was a fun trailer. Also, Hawkeye, 2 episodes, November 24th. That's going to be a long watch party. But it's going to be super fun. So, 2 episodes coming November 24th for Hawkeye. That's pretty wild, meaning they will not run into the Book of Boba. You know what I mean? They won't run into the Book of Boba. I saw Stormy on Twitter, I think, was saying, like, why can't they just push Hawkeye back 1 week? They probably already had it locked in for that date. It does sort of show that Marvel and Disney are not having the best communication. So, it is what it is. Anyway, this report was also really, really cool. This comes from thecosmiccircus.com, which I think I keep accidentally calling them My Cosmic Circus, but that's because that's the Twitter handle for them. Regardless, Lizzie Hill's website here. We like Lizzie Hill. This appears to be 100% true. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is supposed to be the title of Into the Spider-Verse 2, the sequel. And I don't know. Let me ask you this. Let me end this poll because, many of you guys, just already took the fun out of that one. Let's ask another poll here. And I think this one might have the same amount of sort of disparity. Do you think Across the Spider-Verse ties into Sony's live action plans? I'm interested to see what you guys think. If you didn't know, I think the first Into the Spider-Verse movie is the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. Yep. I think it's better than Spider-Man 2. I think it's better than Homecoming and Far From Home. I think it is the most ambitious, complete, exciting, cool Spider-Man movie ever made. But at the time, I did not think that it would actually tie into the live action stuff. Okay? Let's see here. Let's read a little bit of what they are saying here, okay? With this title, and given its predecessor's ending, we can slightly speculate about the story of the upcoming sequel. Given how the first film was set entirely in the universe 1610, Miles' universe, the title seems to lean on that Miles' next adventure will take place outside his universe and travel across the Spider-Verse along with Gwen Stacy. Details on the film's plot are pretty much unknown at this time, and what characters could appear to the film. We know at the moment that both Shamik Moore and Haley Steinfeld are set to return as Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy, respectively. We also know Isaiah Ray will be making her debut in the franchise as Jessica Drew. Ooh, so that's really interesting. I actually might have missed that. That seems pretty wild. So we know they have plans for Jessica Drew with Sony, right? I wonder if that's the one we're going to meet as well. We also know from the producer Phil Lord that the Japanese Spider-Man, Spider-Man, will be one of the many characters appearing in the film. I didn't know that either, bro. Holy shit. They're doing it. Spider-Man. Dude, Japanese Spider-Man's going to be in this movie? Holy shit. I thought the first movie was dope. Bruh. Japanese Spider-Man's about to be in this thing. Supeda-man. Supeda-man. Okay, I'll have to work on that. Sorry. Japanese is not that great here. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay, my bad. But that's sick, bro. If this Japanese Spider-Man is seen in the movie eating an oversized onion ring, I'm going to stand up in the middle of the theater and start a slow clap with tears streaming down my face. Big old anime happy tears, though. It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Anyway, that's one of my favorite memes out there online with that Spider-Man eating the big old onion ring. Hopefully we get the previous supporting cast like Jake Johnson, Nicolas Cage, John Mulaney will return to the sequel as Peter B. Parker, blah, 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 blah. October 7th of next year. That's pretty cool. So that's some pretty wild Spider-Man news as well. Shout out to the CosmicCircus.com for grabbing that exclusive. I think it's pretty juicy. I think it is pretty juicy. So many of you guys believe you drive to Erie to see it. Hey, maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe we'll do a little, a little party NERDVENGERS thing or something. It could be fun. Originally, I didn't think that these live action things were going to all work together with the animated stuff. It really feels like that will be the case now. And I'm really interested to see how all of that is going to go together. Remember just a couple weeks ago when Tom Hardy said, you've got a multiverse and you've got a Spider-Verse, right? Remember when we broke that down? We broke that down and we were like, yo, this dude knows what he's talking about here. This is not a little like, oh, well, there's this. No, dude, this is a dude that's educated. This is a dude that's been in meetings. This is a dude that's probably dodged a couple sandwiches from Amy Pascal, So this is a guy that knows what's going on. And soon we shall know as well. Exciting times. Okay, guys, so I want to talk about a couple of different things real quick alike here. God, did they have to find such a sad photo of Anthony here? Or Joe, rather? So, I know them apart. I know who they are. Did they have to grab such a sad photo of this dude, man? I wonder if the photographer was like, okay, now, Joe, for this one, imagine that your dog died and then came back to life and killed himself. Could you imagine that? For your sadness. That's what it seems like to me. Regardless, he was chiming in on the whole idea of changing Hollywood. And I think some of the stuff he says here is actually pretty on point. So, with the strike coming, with the lawsuit of Scarlett Johansson, and honestly, it feels like you and I, NERDVENGERS, you and I have been talking about this for over a year now. The coming changes to the entertainment industry. He says some harsh realities in this article. So, let's talk about this. Calling it unfortunate, speaking of the legal battle, that the conflict spilled out in the public domain, but suggesting that it's a sign of the times for an industry gripped by uncertainty. There's a lot of tension, just like there is in a lot of industries, because there's a lot of disruption, he said. People's nerves are fraying, and it's hard to predict what's going to happen or where anything is going. I agree there. The Avengers Endgame and Infinity War co-director spoke to Variety during Rome's MIA market about Johansson's breach of contract lawsuit against the Mouse House, in which she alleged that the company sacrificed the movie's box office prospects and millions in potential back-end payments by releasing Black Widow simultaneously in theaters and on its streaming platform. Yo, we didn't have a drop today, right, boys and girls? Yo, we didn't have a drop, right? I didn't miss a drop? Yeah, okay. Okay. Russo declined to discuss the status of the... Oh, wait. Okay, let's read this part. This is really, really interesting to me because within this kind of somber story, this very interesting story about coming changes, there is a little bit to celebrate. Before the lawsuit was settled last month, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Russo brothers had hit a standstill in talks to direct another movie for Marvel, which is owned by Disney, due to uncertainty over how a potential next feature would be distributed and how they would be paid. Russo declined to discuss the status of those negotiations, saying it would be inappropriate for us to comment on a deal if we were in the middle of it. Whoa! Let's go. Russo brothers' Secret Wars. Confirmed. Listen, Linda. Put a 1 into the chat if you guys remember me saying the Russo brothers still take monthly meetings with Marvel. We talked about this about a year ago. Put a 1 into the chat if you remember. Man. Maybe when the next sequel trilogy happens, and Ben Solo's a part of it, maybe when the Russo brothers are announced to actually do Secret Wars, maybe when some of this stuff happens, people will actually put some respect on my name. Do I occasionally get stuff wrong? A little bit. You know, we're only human. You know, there's a couple things that we get wrong. I get bonered, just like the rest of us. But I've been saying, man, I have been saying, the Russo brothers are doing Secret Wars. It will very likely be the next Avengers movie. It is a huge deal. When the reports came out that the Russo brothers had hit a standstill, it was the mother-flipping Wall Street Journal that reported this. Wait, what? Why does that outbound link take me to fucking... Anyway, it was the Wall Street Journal that reported it, ladies and gentlemen. Big time. Big time. I remember we did a Saturday stream and I freaked out for a couple hours. Many of you guys hit me up and you were like, bro, you need to calm down. You know, this is getting a little ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. There are 2 of them. The Russo brothers, there are 2 of them. So I freaked out a little bit. I actually regret that stream a little bit. I was a little on edge. You guys probably loved it. I was losing my mind because I didn't want to be wrong about a big scoop again. And I was like, ScarJo, are you going to fuck up Russo brothers' Secret Wars? Disney, are you going to screw this up? Are you going to make me look a stupido again? And luckily, it doesn't appear that's going to happen. Anyway, just a little sidebar there. Apologies. Let's get into the rest of this, right? A Marvel Secret Wars fan page just followed me on IG. My man. Ross, that sounds dope. Dope. Sounds dupe. Sounds like Dupe, the X-Men. The X-Static character. Okay, so he declined to talk about that because he's totally going to do Secret Wars. Which, by the way, good look. In all seriousness, I do believe that those brothers and the whole, like, you know, Wall Street Journal thing, like, that doesn't fucking happen on accident, bruh. Like, that's probably their camp sort of winky, hinty, giving some support to ScarJo. And honestly, I like friends getting each other's backs. It is a tumultuous, weird time. So I'm glad they got her paid or whatever, you know what I mean? It's a little outlandish. Many of you guys are like, nah, man, fuck that. But, it's cool to see friends sticking up for friends. Regardless. He added, I'm glad the lawsuit is resolved. I do think it was an indicative of significant changes that's been happening. The resolution speaks volumes about the respect for artists moving forward in this changing landscape. That's nice, huh? The resolution, however, also belies an industry in a state of unprecedented flux. Corporations are panicking at the moment because I think that half the studios are going to disappear in the next 5 to 10 years. Bruh. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Put it into the chat. In fact, let's poll it. Let's have fun with the poll. I'm a Pole, by the way. I'm Polish. That's what that means. Let's see here. Do you think half of movie studios will be gone in 10 years? I'm interested in what you guys think there. I mean, I 100% agree with him. But a lot of them will be bought, probably. They'll end up being part of a conglomerate, right? And the game has changed dramatically. He continued, there are content producers who can outspend any studio. And it's just a rounding error for them because they're $1 trillion companies. We've never seen that before in the business. True. I would actually argue, though, and I know this is weird, right? I would argue that it will technically be better in some ways when the money is coming from other revenue streams than private investment. Because a lot of private investment, I mean, this gets us into the whole China discussion. You know, private investment in some ways it became a bad avenue for the Hollywood system to be at the behest of outside influence. You know what I mean? So in some ways, like, it's legitimately better that the money would just come from a different side of a big tech company, right? In my opinion. Russo spoke to Variety after wide-ranging keynotes addressed at Rome's MIA market, which takes place blah, 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 blah. Having the highest-grossing films of all time, along with his brother Anthony, Russo insisted that the theatrical model isn't dead, though the disruption caused by the Rona and continued growth of streaming services has altered the business for good. I don't see a resurgence of independent movies in theaters in the future. I just don't, he said. You get more money to make them digitally, less headaches. The easiest thing for Netflix to do is to greenlight a smaller film. What I've found, and what a lot of other filmmakers have found, is that nobody really bothers you. That's an incredible experience to have. Amid the flurry of wheeling and dealing at the fast-rising Rome market, there were some 350 new titles in development and production are on display for prospective partners. The AGBO co-chairman spoke about his open interest in spotting and nurturing talent overseas. On a personal level, I'm just more interested in diversity of storytelling. I think the world is a better place the more diverse voices can be heard. I agree with that 100%. He said, all of my favorite stuff in the last 5 years is outside of Hollywood. I think that is important because artists are coming at it with individuality and a fresh perspective that isn't tainted or affected by the machine that we have in Hollywood. He praised Squid Game as high concept and execution. It's gorgeous and insane. While describing 000 and Gamma Wrath producers, probably my favorite producers in the world right now. Okay, so he's talking about Extraction 2. It's sort of an experiment in narrative. It is a flagship show and then regional shows that are built around its core idea. Oh, he's talking about The Citadel. Sorry. They're complementary narratives. It's regional talent producing and creating each one of those offshoot shows. It's a big experiment. Talking about experimentation. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to me. Talking pretty candidly about the coming changes to the market. You know, I find this stuff fascinating. I'm really interested in it. I'm interested to see how it all goes. And we're at a certain weird precipice here. Of course, because, and I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to get into Q&A, and then we'll do call-ins because I know we're running a little low on time here. Okay, so let me just kind of say a little thing here. It is very possible, ladies and gentlemen, it is very possible that we're going to see one of the biggest entertainment strikes of our lifetime for movies. It's pretty wild. Is it possible that they figure stuff out before Monday? Absolutely. But I've also been told that it's possible that strikes will start happening today. Today. Not even Monday. There's some evidence out there that it will start striking today. There was an article put out by Charles Murphy yesterday saying that these strikes may well last 90 days. Okay? So what's interesting about that is I'm like, yo, what is the deal with that? Like, does that imply that the unions are going to straight strike for 90 days? Like, is that the threat? Or could it be a thing where they strike until they come to terms and then they reschedule and figure stuff out? Some people are saying, nah, fam, it's a 90-day thing. And it will affect entertainment all across the board at a really weird time where entertainment is already affected. Could be a weird time, man. Could be a really, really interesting thing that we are about to go through together. And I think that this is a time where, by the way, a lot of this stuff is happening in the labor force just across the board, where because there's a labor shortage and because I think really what it is sort of a recontextualizing and a re-examining of what work should be and what like fair pay and a living wage and all these different things should be. I am 100% behind those substantive changes being made to allow like middle to lower income people to be more secure. I think that it's obvious. It is obvious if you look at the erosion of the middle class, not just in this country, but in a lot of different countries, that things have not gone a proper way to set people up for success. I also think, however, that corporations, big corporations especially, are in a really precarious situation. Because, like, here's the deal. If you knew, like, let's just say Absalom Pandy or whatever, you knew where your company was relatively going to be at, you knew what revenue was coming in, you had a plan, you had like a 5-year plan, it was executable, and you knew, relatively speaking, the margins that you would have to play with. I think in that situation, it's like, yeah, man, pay people more because you know what you're going to have. I do think, and I know some people get triggered when I say this, but I do think that it's weird because right now a lot of these corpos, they frankly don't know what's going to happen. They don't have a great handle on how much money they're going to be able to bring in, what the margins are going to be, how they're going to be able to function moving forward. And so it's a weird time for a strike like this, and I can see the perspective of the studios being like, okay, look, we get you and we want to help and we want to do better, but we can't do all this without knowing what the future looks like for us. And the beautiful thing here is we're going to be able to just see how this goes. We're going to be able to just see how this goes. And a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. And yes, NERDVENGERS Tower will be standing 5 years from now. I guarantee it. But in 5 years from now, we'll be able to look back and be like, yo, is it possible some corporations or studios or producers of content, businesses, industries, companies, etc., were actually bankrupted by this strike and the negotiation for it? Wouldn't that be interesting? Look, there's disruption happening. Things are going to change. A lot of people are going to lose jobs. People are going to lose careers. Companies are going to be gone. Facts. You know what I mean? Like, straight facts. I hope that we can get through this together, and I hope that the people are compensated properly. I've heard horror stories about, you know, what it's like working on sets, what it's like to be in that industry and do that. I frankly think a lot of people are in similar situations across the board, regardless of what they do for a living. I think companies should, generally speaking, do better. But also, I just can't help but feel a little bit for people that are, companies particularly, that are looking out at this drastically changing landscape and being like, oh, and now I have to pay this much more. Okay. Interesting. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting. If the strike happens, I think I'm going to reach out to, we have a member here that is actually a part of that union. And so if the strike actually goes down, which I'm leaning towards it actually happening, I really do think it's going to happen. We'll talk about that together as a community. We'll maybe even do a community thing where we have call-ins, et cetera, et cetera. Tristan Ring, I just want to say welcome to the NERDVENGERS. Straw Hat Dragon, welcome to the NERDVENGERS. You joined yesterday in between streams. Terry Moto, welcome back. LMI Music, welcome back. Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. Really do. Thank you so much for the support. Let's get into these super chats. If you do have a question, a comment, something you want us to go over, something you want me to talk about, please throw it in as a super chat this morning. I'll go over all the super chats that come in within reason. So let it fly. And then we will hopefully in the next, we'll do at least 3 call-ins. I don't know who's going to be able to get in. We'll try to do at least 3 different call-ins at the end of the show as well. Okay? So let's see here. Jonathan Reynolds comes in with a $2 holla. No message, though. Brother, try to put it just in a regular chat. I'll try to look for it later. Michael Smith with a $5 holla says, Josh variant rankings. Number 1, Star Wars troll Josh. Number 2, Supreme Josh. Number 3, MCU shill Josh. Number 4, Josh. And 1,000 Boba Josh, equivalent of current Star Wars movies. Damn. Sinister Gain says with a $5 holla says, Mr. Josh, master of the den, are you the one above all? I don't know if I am. There could be another Josh out there. That's the one above all. I don't 100% know, man. I don't know. These variants. There's a variant I would love to introduce y'all to that I've been working on. He's a little shy. He's not quite ready to make an appearance yet, but it's really, really funny. So I think you'll enjoy that. Dorian Trussell says with a $20 holla, very generous, man. Says, happy Halloween this month. Happy Hawkeye Thanksgiving. Hope you all get stuffed full of good food and great content. Merry Hawkeye Christmas, everyone. Bruh, thank you so much, man. I can't wait for that watch party. It's going to be a fun one. By the way, I think, and I got to run this by theory, but yeah, so we didn't do Movie Bros this week. We're both just really busy, and he's getting ready for the big stream tonight, right? But did you guys see that next Thursday at 6, I believe, Eastern Standard Time, Dune will be released on HBO Max a day before its theatrical debut? So next Thursday, we may well do a watch party for Dune for Movie Bros, which would be really, really fun. So maybe check that out. But Dorian, thank you so much for the support, man. We're going to have a great time watching Hawkeye together, doing breakdowns and just hanging out. And then Book of Boba after that. Whew! Let's get it. 34 Virgo says with a very generous $10 holla, says, I said before, my belief is Tom Holland will get stuck in Sony based on Feige's comments years ago about swinging between universes. He isn't looking to connect with Sony storylines. That's a camouflage. It could be. I'm a little bit confused as to how all of it is going on, man. I understand what you're saying, and I do think it's possible that he leaves the MCU for some time. I definitely think that's possible. And then they have Miles. Like, I love Miles, and they could set Miles up, and I think that would work just fine. 34 Virgo says with a $5 holla. Oh, this is your follow-up. Says, out Tom, and now enter the new Spider-Man, Miles. Indeed, my friend. And I love the Miles Morales character, so I'm all for it. T-Love, a.k.a. the Silver Lurker. Whoa, what if it was sorry, I'll read this in a second. What if it was the Miles from the Into the Spider-Verse that ended up in the MCU? Crazy. T-Love, a.k.a. the Silver Lurker, with a very generous, way too generous, holy crap, are you sure you put the right number in there? $50 super chat. Says, it's a juicy Friday. Just need to get through the next few hours, then the weekend starts. Gonna go home, pack a bowl, and chill. Much love, y'all. And let's get our gamble going. LOL, JK, I'm responsible. Sometimes. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate the support. It's going to be a good weekend. As I said, we will be hanging out together tomorrow night, talking about DC fandom. We'll do that recap stream. I think it's going to be a really fun time. By the way, Danny Geekdom, I was talking to him a little bit yesterday. He did a spoiler video about the Batman, and I might have Geekdom on the stream, the morning stream on Monday, maybe. Depends on like if the strike is happening and other things like that. But I'm gonna watch his leak video later. And yeah, I look, the Batman sounds dope. Danny's pretty hyped on it. So he says it's pretty good. So we'll see. Emme Spiro Jr. Mr. Spiro Jr. with a very generous $10 holla says, need some of that nerd coin. Take my money. Thank you so much for the support, man. Enjoy the juicy nerd coin. I hope you gamble and make millions, but not really millions. But I hope you make some. This is a great question here by Diamond Joe. He says, morning, Josh. Happy Friday. Wondering if you are looking at / taking BBS mod applications. Let me talk about this for a second. A lot of people have applied to be moderators for the site, okay? I'm trying to go over all of that, hopefully this weekend. Like, I've been looking at, I've been considering. I have a couple of questions for Adar and for Mark and people about the site before I finalize our list. But I think what we're generally speaking going to have is a group of people that are moderators on the Discord, that are moderators here for the chat, and that are moderators on the BBS. And I would love it if there's a lot of overlap between those people. There will be some people that don't want to do the BBS, don't want to do the Discord, don't want to do the live stream. I understand. But it would be great if we had a more universal thing going on there. So I'm hoping to make a call on that soon. If you have not checked out the BBS website, it is freaking awesome. People are having fun on there. People are making a little bit of coinage on there. And the more that we get people involved and having fun over there, the more it benefits all of us. So go check out the BBS website. Go to thedenofnerds.com and check it out. Make an account and, to the moon, as they say. Thank you, Diamond Joe. Appreciate that. Jensen Baker says, I just hope this film is the most Spider-Man-y of the 3 MCU films. Also, it seemed like the next Spider-Verse is called Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, thanks, brother. We just went over that. Well, if all the other Spider-Men are in it, I think it's going to be a pretty Spider-Man-y film. Right? So, yeah. Will says with a $5 holla, have you heard the reports that people are amazed by Robert Pattinson, Batman voice? Some are calling it perfect. Perfect, you say? Like as though he's imitating Batfleck? Perfect? Interesting. Okay. Thanks, Will. Doug Bayou says, for the $5, just showing some love tonight. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Noah Schaefer for the $5 holla says, couldn't think of anything to say, but it's Friday, so take my money. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the support. I hope you had a good week. I hope the content was useful, helpful, entertaining for you this week. I appreciate the support. You guys are so kind. Y'all should check out that Moon Knight video from yesterday too, man. Had a lot of fun making that video. And honestly, I had a lot of fun with a lot of the content we made this week. At 1 p.m. today, and man, like my day is just shrinking. All my time is disappearing. 1 p.m. today, we're going to do a Prime stream. I'm going to follow up on some of the stuff I talked about on Tuesday, and I have a very important psychological business tip for everybody today. So if you're a Prime member, come by at 1. Get filled up with that good, man. Kieran with a $9 holla says, I'd like to see an older Spider-Man who is already familiar with his villains, like in the comics and cartoons. Also, a college trilogy would be cool, and then a pizza delivery guy trilogy. Nice, man. I hope they do that with Tobey, with the older Spider-Man. I hope they make him much older and wiser in No Way Home and also perhaps in future stuff. Angelo says, Homecoming is top 5 MCU, in my opinion. Think No Way Home will top it. I do think No Way Home will top it, just because of the sheer ambition of it. Plus, like, it's not... Okay, here's the other thing, okay? This is not just throw all the Spider-Man together. This is, like, really good actors that are iconic. Andrew Garfield's quite possibly the most iconic actor out of all 3 of them. For real, for real. He's an incredible actor. This is all the juice of one Kevin Feige bringing it all together, writing it in a really, really smart way. The whole creative team giving it the love it deserves. This is not just throw them in there. This is well thought out, awesome stuff. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be pretty hype. One Shot says with a $10 holla, I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU will die. Sony will take back the rights after this movie, and we will see another version of the Spider-Man, either Andrew or Tom again, in a different universe. You know what? I'm going to be honest, man. part of me agrees. Part of me really thinks he's dead. Like, it's memeing a little bit, you know, like we're having fun, we're playing with the form. You know, go back and watch the beginning of the stream today. We did a really funny skit. But there's a part of me that thinks for real, he is gone. Man, wouldn't that be wild? It'd be wild. 34 Virgo says, Feige comments plus Spider-Man 3 title. Stay your ass in Sony. Yeah, it's very possible, man. Jensen says, sorry about the earlier super chat. I didn't know you planned on covering the Spider-Verse title news. Bro, it's all good. And you don't have to send another one in to make that thing or whatever. You know what I mean? I appreciate the love, though. Sergeant Woods with a $5 holler says, can't wait to see Spider-Man 2099 in the sequel for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Bruh. Miguel O'Hara. Awesome character. Awesome character, bruh. Spider-Man 2099. Sick. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Ross says, a Marvel Secret Wars fan page just followed me on IG. That is sick, bruh. That is sick. Kendall says, ban gambling. I've only hit one time since gambling has been brought back. Rigged, but I can't stop. Tom Holland for life. Give me Parker Industries. Bruh, that would be interesting. That could be really, really cool. Yo, that could be really, really cool, man. And also, Kendall, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to give some coin away for the fandom stream. Yeah, we're going to do, I think that's what we're going to do. Guys, come on by the fandom stream tomorrow night. We'll give you some coin. We'll do it live. John Higgs with a very generous $10 hello says, what's up, Josh / NERDVENGERS? Russo Brother Secret Wars! Pushing zipper about it. Maybe, if you're watching. Or Feige, if you're watching. Gracias, amigo. I know, right? Bro, he's the best. You know? Everybody's like, man, why do you simp so hard for Feige? I'm like, why the fuck don't you? Do you not remember? Do you not remember the dark times? Like X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3 and Blade 3. Why is it always the third one that's really bad? Anyway, let's keep going here. Holy mother loving mothers. Big Stevie with a $5 holler says, unions don't set a time frame of how long they'll strike. They'll know how long they can afford it, but they don't set how long. That's not how this works. I appreciate the clarification, my guy. That is good to know, because 90 days is a long fucking time. Maybe they're saying that that's how long they can afford it. That's interesting. Huh. That's really interesting. Appreciate the love. Armani says, with a $5 holler, will Marvel drop any surprises tomorrow? Maybe Moon Knight official still, teaser, or Spidey stuff? The Batman might take over the internet tomorrow. And there's no reason that it shouldn't. Maybe they'll do something. I honestly feel like a lot of this week was already sort of shots across the bow. New information, lots of interviews with Tom Holland, new stills, Hawkeye trailer. A lot happened this week. So I think there was already a lot of competition for all that. But no, I think you leave tomorrow alone if you're Marvel. Let DC have that day. And there's this, maybe you never know. Like, you never know what's going to be announced there. It could be huge. Could be really fun. So we'll see. RF Gaming Channel with a $5 hello says, what is the union's reach outside of the U.S.? Lots of foreign filming already. Any chances studios start going to other countries to sidestep the strike? Wow. That's pretty interesting, man. I had not really thought about that. That's something we need to think more about, research more about. Maybe when we talk to the gentleman that is a member of the union, we could get to the bottom of that. I'm not sure, but that's interesting. That is a really interesting thought. Greg Kish with a $5 holler says, just got my first 2 NFTs for free from DC Fandom. Are free ones worth anything? Peace to you and all the NERDVENGERS. Take my money. I'm sure they can be. In fact, we were just talking about on stream yesterday for the members. We were talking about a very weird NFT project that's called Loot. And if you've ever heard of Loot, those were minted for free. You just had to pay the gas fee to mint them, but they did not cost anything. And then they shot up to thousands of dollars. So it's possible that free NFTs could hold value for sure. So, for sure. Let's see here. Terry Moto says with a very generous $10 holla man says, happy Friday. Damn, I know I'm late to the party, but why would you think that Sony would kill off $1 billion IP and it's the only movie they ever had to make that much money? Hashtag recast T'Challa. I agree with the recast T'Challa. I agree. Why would they do it? Well, because I think they might have very ambitious plans. Think about this. Think about it from this perspective. They may well want to create a scenario in which all of those villains that they're building up, Andrew Spider-Man, Toby Spider-Man, and possibly new Spider-Man, maybe a new Miles Morales, for sure, maybe a new Peter Parker. They could be trying to set up a scenario in which those characters become massive draws, and then they could eventually bring back Tom Holland, and that would be a huge draw as well. So, the actual likelihood of this is low, but I do believe that there is a possibility. Let's see here. Jeremiah Pfizer with a $200, I believe that's yen. 200 yen. Thanks, man. Says, love you, Josh. Tell Theory I said hi or hey. I will. So Phoenix Taylor, let's see here. Phoenix Taylor, I'm gonna try to give this, it's very generous $20 hauler you got here. I'm gonna try to actually answer your question here, okay? This is an inflammatory question. It's a really interesting idea here because I think one of the things that's really interesting about this, and many of you guys that are, big-time followers of the channel, you will know how funny this is. No offense to you, Phoenix, but we have people literally hitting me up, calling me that I like everything, that I love woke stuff, that I love SJW stuff. Like, we literally have people within the most hardcore part of our community that absolutely hate some of the ways I talk about these issues, okay? And then we have people like you who are obviously very upset when I say things about wokeness and SJW stuff in pop culture. What's interesting to me is that, look, I think I take a pretty nuanced approach to all of this, I sit right on that fence. I'm very comfortable on the fence. And some people are so triggered by what I consider to be just straight talk, and maybe some of the vernacular that I use or the way that I talk about it, that they're so upset that they send in super chats like this. Okay, so here we go. When you gonna stop the anti-woke BS that makes your page pretty insufferable? Pretty insufferable to you, my friend, to you. You crap on stories that ain't white and male and super hype Hawkeye. Stanley was pretty damn woke by telling stories that were not being told. Stop! Okay. Again, I just think it's such an interesting... I could actually talk about this for hours because what's more interesting to me is the perspective that you have on how I talk about this stuff. Frankly, a lot of the times when I'm talking about woke things in movies, it's not even so much that I personally have a problem with it, but I think it's obvious that large portions of the population do have problems with it. And I think that taking the perspective of, like, for instance, let's talk about the Eternals, right? Let's talk about the Eternals and the marketing behind the Eternals. I made mention that the idea of marketing the Eternals, not the content, but the content of the marketing, and focusing that marketing on wokeness, representation, these buzzwords that, are real culture war issues. I made the point that I think that's probably not the best way to do it because I think it really ignores a wider group of folks that have strong feelings about these things, and B, it's not putting the content first. You know what I mean? It's not being the content first. We literally just had, I was reading something where Russo talks about diversity of perspective. Oh, man, diversity of perspective, very, very important. Very important. But it's not the same thing as, the types of diversity that get pushed out there through Hollywood. In fact, just the other day, I saw John Roca talking about Salma Hayek and a Latino representation. I thought John Roca handled it perfectly. John Roca is a Latina himself, and he said, this is great, and it's a great first step, but we want full representation. He said, just changing a white character into a Latina is not exactly it. However, when you're talking about woke, I think that is exactly it. I think it's a lot of surface level identity politic, feel good, self-congratulatory, shallow thinking. I don't really think it's that deep or really that well thought out. It's not actually addressing issues. It's more like thinking you're doing the right thing and sort of taking that easy way out. Again, I could talk about this at great length. But Phoenix, I mean, I'll tell you this. I'm going to just continue to be me. I think that there's a portion of people out there that obviously find my commentary interesting, enjoyable, entertaining. I certainly don't claim to be any arbiter of massive, significant truths out there in the universe, but I do claim to have a perspective that I think is pretty well thought out and an ability to communicate it well. So I say all that to say I love you, but go fuck yourself. See you in the next one. All right, Noah Schaefer says with a $2 holler, live streams and vids help every week. Much love. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Scott F says with a $5 holla, I usually am never able to send supers, but it's payday, so happy Friday. See you on the charity stream. Thank you, brother. I hope you saved a little bit of coin for the stream later with Theory. I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to hang out with you guys. Terremoto says with a $5 holla, I think you'll be trolled and you're not going to see, or think I'm being trolled and I'm not going to see multiple Spider-Man until Spider-Man 4. Ooh. Well, that would be a pretty big troll, man. That would be a pretty big troll. And I'd feel weird about it for sure. I'd feel quite strange about it. Okay, let's see here. Empire Comics with the $10 holla says, I've been saying for over a year now that Tobey Spider-Man will die at the hands of Green Goblin. Oh, shit. Miles witnesses this, like in the End of the Spider-Verse, and more importantly, in his solo run in the Ultimates comics. It was good stuff. And just like that, boom, we get Miles. Hey, could be, and I'd be down. I like that character. Elisa Scott says, looks like someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed. LOL, just because someone enjoys content differently than you doesn't make them your enemy. 100%. 100%. I was actually having this discussion with a disgruntled nerdvenger yesterday. I was trying to explain that really and truly, one of the reasons that I, sit on the fence or whatever is that I seriously, honestly, and authentically see the perspective of both sides. I do. I have a lot of empathy for people on both sides of this weird culture war situation. I wish both sides of this thing could feel more empowered. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But also, yeah, there's a lot of vilification. There's toxic people on both sides. It's a big old mess. But we do what we can. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Dag says with a 50 something or other. I'm pretty sure that's $1 billion we just received. Thank you. Says just got a Green Lantern DC NFT. I believe we will see Green Lantern reveals. All the NFTs are already in the DCU except Green Lantern movie. Well, that's pretty interesting. I think there's plans for that big Green Lantern show. I know they've been working on that for some time. So that's pretty cool. And hopefully, we get more of that. I love Green Lantern, bro. Green Lantern was one of my favorites growing up, and I don't think he's been really done justice in the MCU. Okay, we got a couple more supers here, guys, and then I need to get at least a couple of call-ins in. Okay, I need to get at least a couple of contents in. Call-ins. Mike, License to Show Porter, says with a $5 holla, says, a message from a nerdy boomer. Find the world of objectivity. Respect others' opinions for being opinions. And quit getting triggered. Come with love. Damn. What a guy. Thank you, Mike. Low Live says with a $5 holla, says, keep doing you, Josh. If you want woke content, go to New Rockstars. Hey, man, different strokes, different folks. I don't besmirch people for feeling the way they feel or conducting themselves the way that they conduct themselves. You know what I mean? It's a big, wide, confusing world. We do our best here to try to bring an eclectic group of folks together to celebrate nerdy things. That's really all it is, you know? But I appreciate you. Jesse Davis says with a $5 holler, says, hey, Josh, much love for you and the content. I think the best case scenario for Marvel/Sony is setting up Miles as the Sony Spider-Man and keeping Tom in the MCU. I would actually really like that. That could be fun. But why not both? Or why not have a Miles in our universe and a Miles in that universe? And then here's a Miles, there's a Miles, everywhere's a Miles. You know, that'd be kind of fun as well. So, appreciate you, man. Vanessa says with a $5 holla, says, the way you speak is exactly why I love watching you. And now I have gotten my kids, too. Keep being you, Josh. You're a great leader for this community. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And honestly, like, you know, I was sort of clowning on the homie back there, but like, bro, he can feel how he feels, man. You know what I mean? Like, he can feel how he feels. It's all love. It's all love in the tower. It's all love in the tower. Okay, thank you. Okay, got a couple more. It seems like they just keep coming in. So I'm gonna go through these three guys, but then I must do some call-ins, okay? So if you send a super chat in after this, I might not get to it today, or maybe I'll get to it later, okay? Logan M says, top 5 MCU movies off the top: Winter Soldier, Infinity War. Bruh. Damn. Winter Soldier, Infinity War. Let's throw Endgame in there. And we got 4 and 5. Bruh. I'd say Civil War. And then Doctor Strange. I know a lot of people don't have Doctor Strange that high on their list, bruh. Go watch Doctor Strange 1 again. It is so good. It is so good. But honestly, the upper echelon of the MCU is an embarrassment of riches. So much good content. It's really hard to parse it out. RF Gaming says with a $5 holler, says, woke for the sake of being woke is dumb AF, if that makes sense. It does, and I agree. I'm considered liberal/moderate, and I don't want that forced BS. Give me the real stuff. Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. I think, I'm with you. Dan Flash says with a $5 holler, says, there is a large audience that doesn't want people of color characters to outshine whites. I don't know if I agree that there's a large audience of people like that. I'm sure there are people like that. I just don't know how large it is. You know what I mean? Gender and race swaps are the interim until audiences buy in. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that sentiment, but I definitely agree with your ability to say it. Again, I don't really think so. I will tell you this. Here's my take on it, just quickly. I think there's a lot of pain and confusion with regards to identity. And like, for instance, a lot of people that have problems with wokeism, they don't like it. They don't like being labeled as being someone that has problems with like actual black folks or like actual things that are going on there. It's like they more have a problem with society's perspective on these things and the wider narrative that is out there. Okay, so you're sort of conflating those two, but I also understand that it's easier to sort of just vilify a group. Like, if you've ever researched like in-group, out-group theory, there's just a lot of weird human things that go on here. And like, again, I could talk about this for days, but that's not really what we do here. But I do appreciate the support there, man. Thank you very much for that. All right, guys, I'm going to start up. If you are a NERDVENGER member, about to start up a stage. Wait, one more from Kendall. I'll just go over this real quick. Says up, when did this channel become anti-woke? Am I missing something? Love the content. Love 75% of your takes. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, look, people have their own definitions. I think there's a lot of conflating of different things. But it is what it is. All right, so if you are a NERDVENGER member, go to the NERDVENGER only part of the Discord. I'm going to start a stage called Call-Ins. Bam. Come on in. I see Jedi Mike. I see Mas. Moss is gone. Go ahead. Come on in, guys. Also, if you are going to be calling in, just try to keep your audio of the stream like down because we'll get some weird feedback issues. But other than that, you should be Gucci. Should be Gucci, man. Should be Gucci, man. Let's see here. Let's see. And yeah, just feel free to raise your hand, guys, and I'll be able to... Hang on. Okay, and I'll be able to get you guys in here. Okay, Jedi Mike, you're on the call. Well, at least I've invited you to be on the call. Wait, what the hell? Turn that off. At least I think I did. Jedi Mike, are you there? Jedi Mike, you might have muted yourself, brother. I see you on the call. Mike? I'm going to give you like 10 more seconds here, brother. I'll fill some air while we're waiting. And if I can't get you on here, maybe you can figure it out and come back in, okay? I'm going to give you like 5 more seconds here, my guy. Will he be able to unmute? Oh, man. Okay, brother. Sorry. I'm going to disconnect you. Let's get Space Wolf in here. Space Wolf was just recently at New York Comic Con. So we want to talk to him about that and just in general what is going on. See if we can get it here. Space Wolf, are you there?
What's going on, Josh?
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Nothing much.
How was that New York?
Comic-Con was dope.
Yeah. Tell me about it. How cool was it?
It was awesome. It just didn't have the same type of energy. I feel like it had like a different type of energy, but I mean, mostly it was great. There was a lot of people that showed up. I wish we would have had a NERDVENGERS meetup.
Yeah, for sure, man. I
know. I really respect everything that was going down there. There was a lot of panels. Donnie Yates had a panel. William Shatner. John Cena. There was a lot of Ghostbusters panels, things going on. They did a screening for Dune.
I heard about that. Good. Yeah. Did you get to see the movie there, or?
I watched a bit of it, but it was getting late, so I had to go. You know, I was walking around for like 6 hours on the showroom floor, but I did watch a little bit of the Ghostbusters panel, and it was pretty decent. Everything was going good. I think next year is going to be a real live year for it, and it's going to be awesome. Hopefully, we can do a NERDVENGERS meetup. Yeah. And also, I wanted to ask you about the NFTs, man. I want to start my own wallet. I'm trying to start my own wallet. I have a couple of rare NFTs from Vivi, and I want to start my own wallet. So hopefully, you can give us some insight on that.
Yeah. So what do you mean by starting your own wallet? Like in the same way that there's like a MetaMask out there, you want to literally create a new thing, or you're saying like you want stuff to be on your wallet? Is that what you mean?
I would like to put all my comics in one wallet.
Yeah, I got you. So currently right now on Vivi, it's all locked up on the app until we move to Immutable X. And then once it's on Immutable X, it's basically like a bridge or cross chain. So you'll be able to take it and hold it on a wallet. So yeah, it's weird. Like with NFTs, there's some NFTs, especially some of like the first NFTs for a project, like CryptoPunks is this way. They actually can't be held on a wallet. You'd have to create a bridge to be able to hold that asset on a wallet. So yeah, there's some NFTs that are transferable and some are not. Currently with Vivi, they're all locked up on the app. But I ask you this: have you messed around with your vault?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
definitely.
Cool.
It's so awesome. I've been in other people's vaults too.
Yeah, I haven't really messed with mine. I want to like set mine up and get it going on. Can you put the comics in the vault at this point or no?
No, you can't.
Okay,
that's the one thing that I hated.
Yeah,
that you can't put comics in there. But I mean, Comic-Con was great. Shout out to all the NERDVENGERS out there. You guys keep NERDVENGing. I'm going to keep doing the same. Josh, you are the greatest leader in the world.
Oh, man, I don't know about that, but thank you. I definitely care. I'll tell you that. That's for sure.
I mean, no, you definitely do, man. I mean, I wish we could have met up this year in Comic-Con. That would have been dope.
Yeah.
But hint, let's get that going.
Yeah. I know. A lot of people. I know. A lot of people want to do that, and I want to do it as well. I think it's funny because like when we canceled our plans because we were going to go out there. When we canceled our plans, it was like right when Delta was like kind of really becoming a thing, and it was just a lot of uncertainty. It looks like now it's being majorly handled and things are all right. So hopefully, knock on wood, next year things will be much better, and we can definitely plan some stuff out because we got Star Wars Celebration, and then all the cons will be back as well. So I'd love to be chilling, man. I'd love to be hanging out with the NERDVENGERS. Take a crazy video, like all of us, like go to like a restaurant or a bar or something, like you know what I mean. It would be super fun.
It'll look like the actual Avengers assembling.
Yeah, exactly, man. That'd be awesome. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate the call. I'm going to take you out of here and try to get a couple others in here real quick, okay? Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Yep. Much love, brother. Much love. Okay, let's get Gavin in here. Gavin was one of the early ones, and I'm going to get Andre in here. Okay, Gavin, I'm bringing you in right now. You're on the call. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, got you loud and clear. What's going on, man?
All right, nothing much. I'm actually going to go see the duel in like an hour. So I just came in and said,
Uh-oh. We might be dropping out. Hang on. Gavin, give me a little more audio. I think you...
What's up? Can you hear me now?
Got you now. Sorry. Can you repeat that last thing? The connection just went out.
Oh, I'm going to go see the duel.
Oh, yeah. I want to see that as well. I love those actors, man, and it looks really, really cool. I'm hoping to be able to find some time. I don't know if I'll be able to go tonight or whatnot, but... yeah, that's a fun one, huh? Ridley Scott, huh?
Yeah, I honestly, I was all like, Matt Damon, I must go see this.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see him acting across from Adam Driver. Both really, really talented. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. It's gonna be sweet.
That's part of the sequels, man.
Yeah, 100%. Carried him on those big, broad shoulders. Carried all those movies, 100%.
100%. Yeah, I got a question for you though.
Hit me.
Okay, first of all, man, you got it right. Secret Wars. It's talking. Dude, I've been here for like a long ass time. Like back when like only 18 people watched your channel, dude.
Yeah, I remember. I remember those days, man. I do. Yeah.
During those streams, man, and you were preaching back then too, like the Secret Wars. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And we all like laughed at you.
Yep. Yep.
Idiot.
Yeah. No, it's fun, right? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was just wondering, like, do you have like a idea of like how it's gonna happen? Is it gonna involve the X-Men, Fantastic Four?
I think it
like,
will. I think it'll involve everybody. So I think one of the things, though, if you look at what the Russo brothers said on record, they're talking about bringing in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and doing something like Secret Wars with them would be absolutely fantastic. So I think it'll be probably very different than both the Hickman run and the original Jim Shooter stuff. But of course, just a couple of weeks ago, Jim Shooter came out and said like, well, they paid me to make it, so they paid him to be able to use his story. So I think there will be a lot of aspects of that. I think Battle World will be a thing. I more or less think there will be some kind of entity that brings them all to Battle World, whether that's the Collector or they replace that, you never really know. I think Kang might play a bigger role than maybe Doom did in both of the Secret Wars. So I see some subtle differences there, but I'm telling you right now, man, somewhere at the Russo brothers' house, maybe at both of their houses or maybe at an undisclosed secret base, there is a huge whiteboard of like them figuring all this stuff out. And I was very serious that when they sort of let it slip last year, maybe the year before, that they meet with people at Marvel every month. They're filling in that whiteboard the more and more they discuss these things with them. So that's kind of my take on it. I think it will be very different, but it'll have a lot of the flavor of the comic book stuff. So
that's all I wanted to know, man. You're awesome.
Awesome,
Keep up the great work.
Appreciate you, man. I'm gonna take you out of here. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate you. Let's get Andre in here. Andre, you're on the call. Andre, you're live if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. From the same work around the house and making some repairing some stuff. I wanna give you like my take about this all woke and all this stuff. I don't know if you know, but I'm Romanian, so I have like a first-hand experience in something bad. Yeah, bad relations with people because obviously in Europe there are some persons that think that the Romanian are not exactly bad.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit on me, man. If you could just repeat, I think I heard you're in Romania, so you've witnessed some bad things firsthand, but you were breaking up a little bit. Can you try to clarify? Andre, are you still there? Are you still there, my friend? Uh-oh. We might have lost you, brother. Here, try to, Can you hear me? Andre, I'm gonna move you out. Let me know in the chat or something if you end up getting that figured out. Let's get Stormy on here, though. Let's get Stormy on here. Stormy. What's up, my friend? You're live.
Yeah, Josh, man, I have one question for you, man, and then I'm going to leave real quick because I had to go. Like, we heard this news about that the Eternals had like the biggest pre-sale post-pandemic. That it brought in like $2.7 billion for like not really $1 billion, but like it brought in a lot of like pre-sale tickets who are going to watch the movie. Now, here's my question.
Yes.
How much do you think this movie is gonna make? My estimation is probably between $500 and $700 million.
Yes.
And the bigger question behind that is like, if not for this movie, is the first movie what is going to break $1 billion at the box office? Is that going to be Spider-Man: No Way Home? What do you think?
Yes. So I appreciate the question. I'll take you out of here so you can kind of listen while you're getting to your fancy meetings or whatever you're doing. So, yes, those pre-sales are very, very impressive. But I also think there's a little bit of a measure there of how much pre-sales were going on in the pandy in general, right? So I'm not sure. I don't know what the full answer is there. I will tell you, though, it seems like the movie's tracking in a really, really strong way. I think it'll have a really nice big opening. But it's just going to be interesting to see. There's so many factors going on here, right? So even a movie like Venom, right, which came out of the gate crushing it, had a pretty significant drop in its second weekend, and we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on it and see how it does over time. I think the same will be said for Eternals. Will a lot of word of mouth help the movie? I would say absolutely. Like if you look at something like Shang-Chi, it really looks like strong word of mouth help that movie do really, really well in its sort of next week and then the week after, right? Very strong holding for that film. I'm not sure. I think one of the things with Eternals is it really is aimed at sort of an international audience, right? It's unfortunate that China, has all their issues with Chloe, and it is what it is. We talked about that at great length, but the movie seems to be really connecting with a lot of different folks, okay? So, where I can get up here and say, like, I'm not crazy about the sort of woke marketing behind the movie. And I think, by the way, it should be okay to say that, at the same time, it's not necessarily aimed at somebody like me, right? Like this white Polish dude, right? So it's working for perhaps a large amount of people out there that kind of stuff really, really means a lot to them, and they're connecting with it. I think there's also a measure of excitement about the movie because of the impact it may well have on the MCU, right? So I think the movie, we're just gonna have to wait and see on it. I think between 500 and 700 is a pretty good margin there. It's also a pretty wide margin. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty wide there. If it were to click up towards that 700, whoa, like that would be a big smash hit for them. And if it would go higher than that, I think that would be great. I don't know how much money the movie cost, but it was a big, big movie. Now, as far as the $1 billion movie, I think Spider-Man, if it doesn't hit $1 billion, it will still set the sort of upper end of what is possible in the cinemas. Meaning, if the movie doesn't make $1 billion, then I think that the movie industry will probably not have a $1 billion movie for at least another year, maybe even more years after that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. It's really, really interesting. I think that it has the best shot of any movie thus far to hit that mark, but I'm just really interested. I think it's going to set sort of that ceiling, for films moving forward because you're throwing so much at it. Now, Multiverse of Madness is going to be wild, but also just with the way it's positioned and where it's at in the release slate, it doesn't have as much of a oomph as I think Spider-Man. Like that holiday movie thing, it's huge, bro. It's huge. So I think Spider-Man will make more than Multiverse of Madness, regardless of whether or not Multiverse of Madness is a much crazier movie. All right, let's try to get Andre back in here. Andre, I'm bringing you in. Can you hear me?
So, read my internet connection.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. Just repeat your point. Yeah, or your question.
So the thing is that, so I am Romanian. I don't live in Romania now, but I'm from Romania.
Okay.
And the thing is, because of my nationality, in Europe, the Romanians, or mostly, not all of them, obviously, in a lot of countries, they look at some people like they're not only outsiders, but because some of history between the nations or history that happened in the past and whatnot, there are a lot that think that they're thieves, that there are no do-gooders, and all that type of stuff. So to put it like this, it's like a bad view. But obviously, until you don't know a person, you cannot know what exactly he wants from you, or you cannot know. So only from the start, because somebody's going to put his point of view on something. That's not directly that's a bad thing. It's only his point of view.
Yeah.
So my thing is that people should take every statement or some points of view or something for more perspective. Not directly, okay, it's not in line with mine, then that means he's a bad person or
Sure.
he's something not good, or I don't know. Because I changed until now 3 countries. Now I live in Germany. At the start, she was the same thing. Okay, she's an outsider. Okay, she doesn't speak our language. Okay, that means he's a no-do-gooder. He's maybe he's want to do some stuff, or I don't know what. Until the person gonna start to know you, so that you're gonna create like a friendliness, or how you want to call it, so that people can understand. Okay, he's something else like all others. So that doesn't mean immediately that all of the person come from the same, from the same start, and they're gonna end in the same end.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that I put it like in a simple way. I hate that when somebody is gonna immediately say, okay, he has another point of view, or he's doing things in another way out of the group because he's not like us.
Sure.
And that's the same thing that I can say I hate about person who's gonna start and make fast thought, and then they're gonna stick with that thought only because they don't understand the person or the motives behind it, or how the people are gonna take their perspective and how they're gonna tell their story and their perspective to somebody else in some subject. And that's the same thing that I see. That's a lot of some problems on the internet. Somebody says that stuff is not good, and a lot of people, because they don't understand his humor or his point of view, or maybe why he write it, or he right in that moment, that means he's bad.
Sure.
So troll him, hate him, all that and that's the same thing. Until I'm gonna take what I'm gonna say I like or don't like something, I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna try to find some information, and I'm gonna say, okay, I like it or I don't.
Sure.
And the problem that I got is that I'm like almost a pure. I speak my mind directly. I don't like to put filters on it or run around the bush. If I don't like it, I say, look, don't like it. Point.
Yeah.
So that's it. I don't want to lose my time in explaining to somebody why I don't like it. Look,
Sure.
It's easy. I don't like it because of this, that, and this. Done deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting, it's a very interesting perspective. I think one of the things that has happened with sort of online discourse about these particular issues or about judgment of people or judgment of things is that there's a lot of sort of what I would describe as presupposition or thinking before actually like doing the research and trying to figure it out. So a lot of people will make little categories in their minds, and if one person says something that they can identify as something they don't agree with, they will often not only put those comments but put the person into a specific box to try to make sense of it. And it's a shortcut to trying to just understand the world, but it's also a part of like technology and how we communicate, right? So like you're on here right now and like you're able to like really voice your opinion about these sort of things and like let me know. But if it was just a text or if it was just something you were saying in chat, it's super possible that I might misinterpret it or that I might take something that you're saying and, put it in one of those categories or boxes. I think one of the best ways forward, and this is something that I try to sort of preach here, is that we should definitely try not to offend people, but there's this other side of it that I think people forget, and that is that we should also try to not be offended, because when you get offended, you're also making a presumption of this person. You're also putting their comments into a box and making it really, not as nuanced as it should be. So for me, with all of these sort of things, like I try to, just hear people out, understand that there are different perspectives on these sort of things, but I also don't want to be afraid to talk about my feelings or my perspective on these things. You know what I mean? So,
exactly my point.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Did you have anything else you want to add, or any other questions you have for me here, my guy?
So that's exactly the thing. I like the way you put in perspective things, and you try to like not accomplish, but to pleasure everybody, that they're gonna say, okay, yeah, he understands what I'm saying, or he understands what I'm trying to say. And obviously that's why I hate texting, because I like to put my point of view in a phrase or somehow, so that the other person is gonna understand like what I mean.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Text, it can be very easily misinterpreted.
Yes.
And then obviously it's gonna go sideways in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's bad. So yeah, that's the thing that I like. You're a person that I can find myself in, like how you say this, like in English, that you can, that you can understand. You find the similarities, and that's very, very nice. And that's why I really like the way that you're running things, and the people that you try to gather up in this community, they're also having like the same perspectives. They're having like things, bits and pieces that are like alike, and that makes it very, very friendly and very, very enjoyable.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I'm going to take you out of the call, and I'll speak on this point a little bit. Thank you so much, man. So I'm going to exit the stage there, guys. Thank you so much. We'll do call-ins again next Friday, as we do on Fridays. Friday shows are always the best, man. They leave me feeling really, really good. So thank you all for that, particularly you, Andre, for making that point. I think that's oh my good Lord. I think that's a really important point to bring up and like sort of have your perspective on it. Ultimately, look, it's a weird time. I think there is a lot of folks out there. And, honestly, like, I don't necessarily even blame people for doing this, but a lot of folks out there will look at the world that we live in and understand that playing one side, even if they don't necessarily fully agree with that side, is actually safer. And I agree. It's safer in a lot of different ways. It could technically probably make you more money. And if maybe I dug in on one particular side or the other and really like played into it, we could get more like algorithm love and more love, from certain types of communities out there. I think a lot of people view me, and they maybe view the NERDVENGERS as well, as sort of sus, because they're like, well, like, what is he really trying to say? Or like, why won't he pick a side? And for many people out there, the idea of not picking a side means, well, they're not on my side, and that's a very binary way of seeing the world. But I think that it's fair to acknowledge that that is a reality for a lot of people out there. But it's not my reality. You know what I mean? It's not what the Nerdvengers are about. That's not what I want to do. And frankly, like, it's just really nice to hear that it's something that's appreciated. And look, you know, the one dude came in and was like, he's all triggered because I say the word woke or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that's like way down the road of things we need to get past. We need to be able to understand that saying these things, using these words, speaking in a certain way is not a damnation or even an offensive idea. You need to be able to engage people in conversation and ideas. So for us here, I would much rather have an eclectic group that in a lot of ways it does get a little out of hand. You know what I mean? Like even some of the stuff that we had to deal with yesterday, some of that stuff only exists as an issue because I try to take care of people that have different opinions. And that's offensive to some people. It gets people upset in some ways. And so there's a lot of personal stress in my life, a lot of, anxiety and stuff that happens just by making that choice. But I would say anything worth doing right is worth struggling through. And I have a real authentic take on this, you know what I mean? And I feel strongly that the way forward through all of this craziness is through respect, through reciprocity, you know, trying to understand each other and listening. Hey, you can argue, but you got to be respectful. You got to listen to the other side, you know? So I just really appreciate you sort of putting a punctuation on that. I understand not everybody sees it that way, and they probably never will. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I understand. And it's all good. Much love to all ye Nerdvengers. Much love, man. You guys certainly enriched my day today. I hope you took something away from this, even if it was just a couple of laughs. You know what I mean? So it's super fun stuff. Thank you, guys. Gonna get on out of here. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you, that's right, you, in the next video. Did everybody go? Oh, how about that? I didn't even plan it. Guys. Little Eagle song coming at ya. That was a good one, man. Appreciate y'all. Let that play for a second, you know what I mean? Cult leader secret talk incoming. Absolutely, but don't ruin it. Look, man, I just want to say you guys are awesome, man. It is, yeah. Appreciate you guys, man. I don't really have much to add. I got to get out of here. I'll see you guys at 1 for the Prime stream. And let's just let this play, you know what I mean? Feel the power. It's within you.